Hi friends, if you like my videos, subscribe my channel and also press the bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you.
So in this video, let us discuss about respiratory system in human beings. And the respiratory system of human beings includes parts like nostrils, nasal chamber, nasopharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi and bronchioles, and lungs. And in this video, I am going to explain you about briefly about all of these parts as well as the function of that lungs. So now, coming to the first one, nostrils. So in these nostrils there are pair of nostrils, that's nothing but there will be two nostrils which will be present just beneath the nose. So if you will be exposed towards the mirror, then you can understand by yourself. So this pair of nostrils is present just above the upper lip, and normally the both of the nostrils, I have said you that the pair of nostrils is nothing but there will be two nostrils, and that each of the nostril will get separated by septum, and that septum is made up of cartilage, and normally the nostrils will get open into nasal passage, and that nasal passage will open into the nasal chamber. So coming to the nasal chamber, this nasal chamber is present just above the palate, and normally this palate, the space which is present between nasal chamber and palate is maintained by nasal septum. So nasal septum is a gap which is present between palate as well as the nasal chamber. So in simple words to say, this nasal chamber will get separated by palate by the nasal septum, and nasal chamber is divided into following parts: vestibular part, respiratory part, as well as the olfactory part. So this vestibular part consists of hair particles, and it also consists of sebaceous glands. Normally these hair particles plays a major role in protecting the harmful gas. I mean, normally if you inhale the gas, harmful particles will also be present, right? And that harmful particles will get purified by this vestibular part, I mean with the help of that hair which is present in the vestibular part. Coming to the respiratory part, it helps in controlling the temperature as well as the humidity. And this olfactory part, here one thing important thing which you have to remember is olfactory part will be lined with olfactory epithelium, and the air which is present in this nasal chamber will enter into the nasopharynx. So you know about the pharynx, right? So what is meant by pharynx? In the digestive system of humans, I explained in my previous video about this pharynx. So what is pharynx? Pharynx will act as a common passage for entry of food into the stomach as well as the entry of air into the lungs. So here we are discussing about the respiratory system in humans, right? So we have to discuss about the pharynx in such a way that it plays a major role in the entry of air into the lungs, and that entry of air into the lungs will be controlled by the nasopharynx. And this nasopharynx is present just above the soft palate, at the corner region of the soft palate, and above the soft palate, and this nasopharynx will open into oropharynx. This oropharynx will open into the larynx. So by this you can understand that the air which has been passed from the nostrils will enter into the nasal chamber, and from the nasal chamber it enters into the nasopharynx, and from the nasopharynx it enters to oropharynx to larynx. So now let us discuss about the larynx. So this larynx is a hard cartilaginous box, and the major function of this larynx is the production of sound. As it plays a major role in the production of sound, it is also called as voice box. Okay, and normally the wall of the larynx is lined by 9 cartilages. So what are those cartilages? Let us see now. Thyroid cartilage, stricoid cartilage, epiglottis cartilage, corniculate cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, as well as a cuneiform cartilage. So if you see these 3 cartilages, that's nothing but thyroid, stricoid and epiglottis cartilages. These are unpaired cartilages because they are present in a single form. They are unpaired cartilages. But if you see in the case of corniculate cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, as well as the cuneiform cartilage, they are paired cartilages. So by this you can understand that there will be 2 corniculate, there will be 2 arytenoid, and there will be 2 cuneiform cartilages. So totally 6 plus 3, so totally 9. So the wall of the larynx will be lined by the total 9 cartilages. Okay. So normally if you see here, the thyroid cartilage as well as the arytenoid cartilage will get combined together with the help of yellow elastic fibers. So when they get combined together, then it forms vocal cords as well as the vocal cords, which is also called as vocal folds, and that vocal cords will get separated by the arytenoids with the help of rhemoglottids. So coming to the trachea. So this trachea is a windpipe which is present in the mid-thoracic cavity. So if you see here, this is a trachea which is present in the mid-thoracic cavity. So normally what is meant by thoracic cavity? Thoracic cavity is nothing but which consists of body parts like which I have said you, like from the nostrils to lungs. All of this present in the thoracic cavity, and after the thoracic cavity, abdominal cavity will be erased, and in the middle region of this thoracic cavity this trachea will be present. That's nothing but in the mid-thoracic cavity there is a presence of the trachea. So this is a trachea and it is present in the mid-thoracic cavity, and this trachea And if you see here, the wall of the trachea consists of C-shaped rings which is made up of hyaline cartilage, and these C-shaped rings are called as cartilaginous rings. So this red color one ring-like structures, or else the C-shaped structures which I have drawn, are known as C-shaped rings, which are also called as cartilaginous rings. And what is the main function of that cartilaginous rings is that it helps in the protection of the lining of the trachea, and this trachea is lined by pseudostratified ciliated epithelium. And this is just the rough part of the for your proper explanation I have drawn the rough part, but here I am going to explain you properly. So this is a windpipe, that's nothing but trachea, and this trachea is covered by the these C-shaped rings which are also called as cartilaginous rings, and the wall of the trachea is lined by pseudostratified ciliated epithelium. Sixth one, bronchi as well as the bronchioles. So normally I have explained you of the trachea, right? And the trachea will open into bronchi, and that bronchi will get open into bronchioles. And let us explain this briefly. So if you see here, this is present in the mid-thoracic cavity region itself, and that mid-thoracic cavity region will open into the bronchi. And that bronchi, there are of three types: primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi. So by this you have to understand by yourself that the thoracic region, or else which consists of that this one trachea. So if you see here properly what I have said you, the trachea will open into bronchi, and that bronchi will open into bronchioles, right? So this is a trachea, and this trachea will enter into the lungs, and the lungs consists of bronchi as well as the bronchioles, right? And the trachea will enter into the bronchi, and the bronchi will enter into the bronchioles. And here one of the important thing which you have to remember is that the alveoli will get attached to the bronchioles. I will explain you here properly. I have said you that there are primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, right? So the trachea which has been erased in the bronchi will enter into the primary bronchi, and that primary bronchi will get erased towards the secondary bronchi, and that secondary bronchi will erase towards the tertiary bronchi. And this tertiary bronchi will get erased in the following bronchioles, because the bronchi will erase up to the bronchioles, right? And these bronchioles are of following types: primary bronchioles, secondary bronchioles, terminal bronchioles, tertiary bronchioles, as well as the respiratory bronchioles. And all of this together will get constitute to form pulmonary tree, a reverse pulmonary tree, reverse shape, okay? And here this alveoli plays a major role, where this alveoli will get attached towards this bronchioles. So if you see in the diagram, this is a diagram of the lungs, and this blue color dotted like structures which I have drawn everywhere are called as alveoli. And I have said you that this alveoli will get attached towards the bronchioles. This alveoli will get attached towards the bronchioles. So if you see here, these are the bronchioles, and towards the bronchioles, this alveoli will get attached. This blue color dot which I have drawn are known as alveoli, and that alveoli will get attached. So what is the main function of that alveoli? It helps in the exchange of gases. Exchange of gases is nothing but, normally we inhale oxygen, right, and we exhale carbon dioxide. So that oxygen will get converted to carbon dioxide with the help of this alveoli only. So the exchange of gases takes place, and there is a big phenomena for this exchange of gases, and that exchange of gases will be explained in my previous video, where there will be involvement of blood also. So now let us discuss about the lungs. And I have explained you about the thoracic cavity, right? Because this thoracic cavity includes nostrils, nasal chamber, nasopharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles, as well as the lungs, right? And this lungs occupies major space of the thoracic cavity, because these lungs are large in size. This occupies much space in the total thoracic cavity. Next, these lungs consist of double layered pleura at its outer surface. So this outer layer pleura and inner layer pleura together consists of double layered pleura, and this outer layer pleura, this plays a major role, because this outer pleural membrane is closely contact towards the thoracic lining, whereas this inner pleural membrane, it helps, or else it gets directly contacted towards the lung surface. Okay, this inner pleura will get directly contacted towards the lung surface, and in such a way this outer pleura and inner pleura will get differentiated, and this outer pleura as well as the inner pleura, there the gap which is present, and that gap will be filled by pleural fluid. Okay, and normally the total respiratory system includes two parts: conducting part, respiratory part. And the conducting part starts from nostrils and ends up to the terminal bronchioles. That's nothing but, nostrils are nothing but, I can't draw here, you have to understand by yourself, and it starts from the nostrils and ends towards the bronchioles. So up to here it constitutes conducting part. So coming to the respiratory part, alveoli as well as the alveolar ducts. That's nothing but, I have explained you that alveolar, right? And if you and up to here, up to conducting part, you can see with the help of, you can see with the help of your naked eye itself, but this respiratory part you cannot be see with your naked eye, but you can see only with the help of a electron microscope. Okay, and this is about the respiratory system. So now let us discuss along with the diagrams. So this will be a diagram of lungs as well as a diagram of your alveoli. So what I have said you, from the nostrils the air will enter up to the larynx, and this larynx will also act as a voice box because the major function is the production of sound. And the air will enter into the trachea, and from the trachea it enters into the bronchi, and from the bronchi it enters into the bronchiole, and that alveoli will get attached to the bronchioles, and these blue color structures which I have drawn are known as alveoli. And here outer pleura and inner pleura are nothing but the lining of the lungs, and this is the diaphragm region. So above the diaphragm this lungs will be present, and this is the right lung and this is the left lung. And here if you see, this is the zoom structure of the alveoli. These blue color dots which I have drawn, these are the zoom structures of the blue color dots. That's nothing but alveoli. And this alveoli, these are the alveoli which are attached directly towards the bronchioles. These are the bronchioles. And if these bronchioles will get attached to the bronchi, and here this is a pulmonary vein, and this is a pulmonary artery, and this pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood, and that pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. Okay, and we know about the oxygenated blood is nothing but pure blood which consists of oxygen, and the deoxygenated blood is nothing but which consists of carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so these are the alveoli, and what is the major function of that alveoli? Exchange of gases in such a way that the oxygen will get converted to carbon dioxide because of the presence of the blood, and this blood plays a major role in the conversion of that exchange of gases. So that will be explained in my next video. So thank you for watching this video, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Enters up to the alveoli. What is the major function of this alveoli? It helps in the functioning of gaseous exchange. That's nothing but the oxygen will get converted to carbon dioxide, and the involvement of blood also takes place in this exchange of gases. And the phenomena of that exchange of gases will be explained in my next video because it is a long last process, and there will be a much biggest theory. I have to explain it in my next video because this video will get longer. And next, when this exchange of gases takes place by this pulmonary vein as well as the pulmonary artery with the help of this alveoli, then the carbon dioxide gas will be prepared out, and that carbon dioxide gas will get again liberated out through nostrils by the reverse process in such a way that from the lungs it enters into the bronchioles, and from the bronchioles it again enters into the pharynx, again from the pharynx to nasal chamber, and from the nasal chamber to again to nostrils, and again from the nostrils the carbon dioxide gas will get liberated out. So this is only the structure of lungs as well as the alveoli. So if you like my explanation, just like this video and also subscribe my channel so that my channel will move towards the front column. So if you want notes for this video or for this explanation, you can just join us in WhatsApp group, and the link of that WhatsApp group will be given in the description box. So thank you.